In this video, we are going to develop this website from scratch using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So let's get started. But before that, let's have a look of the project we are going to build. Alright, so as you can see here, we have a nav bar with a logo on the left hand side and links in the middle and a button on the right hand side, and we have a container that wraps both the form and then the text over here. But if I hover a mouse on the register, you can see that hover effect, the same thing applies to the form. And if I scroll down here, you can see that we have this hover effect as well, and it's moving from the bottom to the top, and these are the courses section, and we have a fixed background like that. As here, that takes the whole 100% viewport of the browser. And if I scroll, I have a section of a dean of students with some text on the right hand side, and then image on the left hand side with some signature as we see down here. And we also have another fixed background, as you can see, and we have a section for blog as that. Alright, also have a section for blog as that. And last part of it is that we have a footer, as you can see over here. The cool part is that it's really responsive, so if I try to reduce the screen size of my browser, and as you can see, as soon as I reduce the screen size, and the form goes away, and I have this drawer automatically. When I click on that, I can now toggle the drawer. And if I scroll, you can see you also have a nice view, hover view of the project as well. As you can see, the hover effect, and we have some blur. Look at the image. You see we have a blur image as well. And the same thing applies to the fixed background and the image of the dean of students, and we have an fixed background blog section. Is all are responsive as well. If I increase the screen size, you can see we still have it as that. Okay, so guys, this is what we're going to build in this video. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and create a folder for our project. So here, let's call this one school landing page or school website. Name it whatever you want, and let me drag this one and place it inside my VS Code. Cool. Alright, so let's have the roadmap. So let's remove this, and then let's have our code here and our guide here. So we're going to look based on this one to develop ours. Okay, so inside here, let's create one file, and let's call this one index.html as that, and our styles sheet styles.css for our styling, and let's have some asset folder. Gonna hold our assets. Is it assets? One S or double S or whatever. Okay, S double S and that. Okay, assets. Okay, so now first of all, let's scaffold our HTML. So I'm inside the HTML on Mac. Shift exclamation mark and hit enter, and I have my scaffold of my HTML skeleton, and let's have the title being university as that. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and start structuring the website. So first and first, as you can see, for the final one, we have a wrapper that wraps both the header and this text. So let's develop that. So in between the body, let's comment here and say header, and the header contains a nav bar. So first, let's have a section, give it a class of header container like that, and close the section here. So in between the section, let's add our nav bar. So nav bar here, and let's have the HTML. So div from the nav bar, and in between the nav bar, the div, let's have, before that, let's add a class name to the container of the nav bar. So call this one class name. So class is going to be nav container. Nav container. How is that? And in between the nav container, let's add the actual nav. Alright, and the nav, let's add a class name called Nav Wrapper. Nav Wrapper. How's that? Cool. So inside the nav here, first of all, we need to add the logo, this one. So let's go to Font Awesome CDN. So let's search for Font Awesome CDN. Sorry guys. Font Awesome CDN, and then click on that, and then let's click on the link, this one, this. All right, so let's click on this anchor icon, copy that, and let's come to our HTML. So inside the head, before the title, let's add our link, and then the ref, let's paste the link, and then we are good to go. Save it. So now we have imported Font Awesome icons, therefore we can use Font Awesome. So let's go to fontawesome.com, and the icon I use here is called Book Reader. So let's search for book, and then let's search for book icon and use it inside our application. So it is what I use, book open or book. Okay, this one, let's click on that, and then click on start using this icon. Click on this, and there you go. So let's go back to our code, and inside the nav, let's paste that, save it, and then let's check it out, what we are building. So let's open our project here as well. Okay, we have the link, but I think there's problem with the Font Awesome link. I think it's this one, right? Copy link tag, or this. So we have the Font Awesome. Sometimes the importation, I missed something wrong over there, and let's paste that, or I think I copied it wrong. So Font Awesome, this one, the link tag, yes, of course. So we have the link style sheet and the ref. Yeah, is good. Oh no, yeah, perfect. But why you don't see the icon? So let's see. I think all dots. Yeah, I think this one. Yeah, copy this one. I made the wrong import. Yeah, this one, the first one. Font Awesome 5.15 all.main.css. So let's save it, and there you go. We have our icon here. Alright, so next thing is let's continue implementing that. So inside the nav, let's add these, but let's add a class name for our custom styling for this icon. So let's call this one logo. Alright, and then in between the nav, let's add our UL tag, and let's give it a class name of the UL as the class name. Let's use nav links, nav links wrapper, and let's add one more link, class name called links. So you're going to see the importance of this one as you proceed. Okay, so let's add the inside the li, let's add the L tag. All right, so the L tag, let's add our href, sorry, and let's add hashtag, and here let's provide home. So let's copy this one 3 times, 1 2 3 4. Okay, for home we have courses, and we have contact, and we have frequently asked questions, FAQs. Save it, and let's see what we have. Okay, so next is let's add before the or after the UL, let's add a div. So this one gonna be a container that contains the other element on the right hand side. So here let's add another container for that, and let's call this one the I tag. So also a logo, right? So let's go ahead, and then the bars. So if you look at the final one, we have what is called bars. Okay, so when I reduce the font, the screen size of the application, let me show you what I mean. Yeah, let me show you what I mean. You see this bar, this one. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's go to Font Awesome, and then let's search for menu. Let's hit that, and you're gonna get a menu and use it inside the application. All right, so let's use this menu, not book icon. Let's search for this. Okay, let's use this icon, bars. Okay, so let's start using this icon and then click on this, and there we go. So let's go down here where we have the div, this one. Let's place the bars over there, and then let's add a button called, not button but href. When you click on that, let's add hashtag, and then let's add login. Cool. So let's add a class name to the nav icon. So here, the bars, let's add one more, our custom class name called icon. All right, and then this one too, let's add a class name called login btn, like that. Okay, so the last thing is inside the li, you want to add the closing here. For this one, when I click on this one, this icon is called close icon. So let's go ahead and search for close icon. You can use any icons of your choice, and let's use this, okay, the times icon. So let's click on that, and then start using this icon, and then click on this, and there we go. So let's come back to here. Before the first li, let's add this icon, and let's add our custom class name, and let's call this one nav icon. We see that these two icons have the same class names, and we're going to toggle it, and then we're able to open and hide it. Cool. So when you save it, and let's check it out, you see now we have three sections: one, the logo, the links, and the login. So let's add the class names to that. So let's close this one. Let's require the link, our custom CSS. So it's going to be something like this, link, and then the style is style.css, and there we go. So first is let's toggle the custom. I don't want to have the custom padding here, so let's use this universal selector. All right, universal selector, and then say margin to be 0. Let's have padding to be 0, and box sizing gonna be border box, and yeah, pretty much. So let's save it, and now you see that it has been no padding, no margin. So let's go ahead and then start with the nav bar. So nav bar here. So nav bar, let's tackle the nav wrapper. The nav wrapper here. That is it. Let me show you the nav wrapper here. The nav wrapper, this one first, okay, this one. So let's customize it, and as I'm starting to it, first of all, display flex, and then flex is gonna be in a row. There we go. You can see we have 1 and 2, but let's add justify content. Let's add to be space between, so we have some spacing between them, and now we go. You see, you have the logo here, we have the logo here, we have the links, and we have the login over there. So let's continue to build it. Next, let's have a padding top, 20 pixels top and bottom, and then 0 left and right. By left and right, let's add also 10 pixels, 10 pixels for the padding, as that. So check it out, and now you have some padding. I think we can add more, making 20 or just 20 is okay, top and right. I think this is cool. Okay, so next is let's style the container, the nav container, right? The nav container, this one, the wrapper, and add some background color. So nav container, and let's add background color of it, and the hashtag is 2024 and 5D. Gonna give us this color. There we go. As compared to the final one, we have the same background color as that. So let's go ahead and then style the L links, but for now let's remove the background color. I want to see everything before. So here next is the nav links. So nav links wrapper, and then I want to toggle all the LI, right? So nav links wrapper, where is it? Nav links wrapper, and I want to toggle all the LI and change the styling. So nav links wrapper, first of all, I want to be in a row, right? So let's add display to be inline block. Inline block, we'll put them on a one line, as you can see here. So next is let's add the list style. I don't have that bulletin now, it's gone. So also let's toggle the A tag, let's copy that, and then style the aref, and then the same thing, padding on both sides, let's give it 20, top bottom as that, and let's have text decoration to be none. Save it, and now it's perfectly aligned like that, and then let's give it a color of white, FFFF. Now so let's bring it back, the background color of this, sorry, FFFF, and then let's bring it back the background color of this, and let's see, there we go, cool. So let's go ahead and also style the nav icon, because on a live screen I don't want to display these links, right, the icons here. So let's add some color to it so it to be more visible. So dot nav icons, nav icon, and leave a color of white, and as you can see, yeah, this is applied to this color. But what about this closing tag? So I think that icon, the class, oh sorry, it's underscore icon, like that. And now let's refresh. Oh, not F8 times, is it not that? Or underscore, yeah, I think, yeah. So now we have all of them being what? Being white, as compared to this is also white as that. So on a live screen I want to hide it, so display here, display to be none. So let's check it out. Now it's gone. All right, the menu, the hamburger menu, and then the times button is gone. So let's go and continue to display that, to style it. So padding on both sides, they give it 10 pixels on both sides. Now it's gone. So next is let's style the logo. This one, as you can see here, we added a class name logo to, where is my logo? This one, the open book, the class name called logo. So here dot logo, and let's give it a color. This time around it's not white, but instead RGB and red for red color, for red opacity. Let's give it as 14, sorry, green, and then red, let's give it 158, and then the last one gonna be 81 as that. So let's check it out, and there we go, we have the logo being as the original one. Oh, we use this icon, right? So it's okay, we can use this icon as well. So let's increase the font size. So font size let's give it as font size of 2 rem. That responsive unit is there. And then margin, so let's give it both sides to be 10 pixels. It's too much. So on top, let's give it 0 pixels, top and bottom 0 pixels, and left and right, let's give it, so left and right 10 pixels and then 0. Yeah, I think this is cool. Alright, so next let's start the login button here, this one. So the class name we use is called, if you check it out again, the login button is called the login button, this one. So let's come back to CSS and dot that, paste it, login button, btn. So is it login btn? Let's check again. Yeah, underscore, 2 underscores. Cool. So let's have a margin right. Let's give a margin right of 20 pixels, and the background color to be transparent. Background color is supposed to be transparent. And then let's give it border radius on, give it a 3 pixels. Is cool, right? So let's check it out. Oh, the border radius is not picking up. Okay, so let's see, the class name is this one, right? So let's make sure that we are adding the right class name. Okay, so we have it. So let's give it border, let's give it 1 pixel solid yellow. This time around I'm going to use hard-coded color yellow, and let's see, there we go, we see it. But let's add some padding to it. Padding on the top and right, let's give it top and bottom 5 pixels, and then left and right give it 30 pixels, and let's see, it's cool, right? So next is, let's change the color. The color is supposed to be white. Hashtag FFF. Let's see, there we go. But I don't have decoration, so text decoration should be none, and there you go. I think it's okay. But on hover, I want to change the background, and I'm going to use hover effect, copy this one, and all what I need is add semicolon and hover. Okay, when I hover my mouse on that, I want to change the background color to something like yellowish or greenish color, which is 97B310. Check it out. When I hover, I see, as compared to the final one, when I hover, I have it. Cool. So now we are done with this one. But how responsive? When I reduce the screen size, as you can see, that it cramps up, it's ugly. So we are going to implement the responsive design. But before that, let's add this tag, this banner here, before you come back to responsive design. Alright, so let's go ahead and add this header. So here, remember that I added a class name called header container, this one, the wrapper. So let's copy that and then come here and let's have comment and call this one header, and then let's add the class name of the container and let's give it a background color. Okay, a background. This one I'm going to have some gradient, right? So the background color is going to be linear gradient. This one, linear gradient, and add top and then bottom. Okay, top and bottom here. The first one that it takes is that comma, and the next one is the colors, right? So RGBA, and the first one, let's add 7. We can add like pinkish color, so 1.5, and then let's have 5.9, and then the opacity 0.89, right? And then let's add comma and let's add RGBA, the same, and let's add the first one going to be 5.9, and then 9, and then 4.7, and opacity almost 0.73. Okay, cool. So let's save it, and next one is, let's bring comma here, and then we're going to add our URL, the link. So here I'm going to use a link. So let's go to this website called pixabay.com, and here we can have freelancers website, freelancers pictures, and called pixabay.com. And here we can have a list of freelancers images. So we can search for any image you want. So let's call this one for this school that I use. Yeah, so you can look through these images, the one you want, and you can use it in your application, right? So the one I use is this one. Where is it? So this is what I use, this link. So I'll provide in the description below, this one. So all I need, I'll copy the link. So what you want to need, if you want to use any of the images, for example, if you want to use this classroom, what you need is click on that and click on copy image address, and then you are good to go. So come back to the application in the URL, quotation mark, and paste it, and let's see what we have. Let's refresh it. Well, we see nothing, simply because you need to have some height of the image container. So here, let's add a height of 100 VH, 10 VH, and there you go. You see that, but it's not perfectly aligned. So let's add more class names to it. Property, and let's call this one background size. Let's give it cover, and cover the entire. There you go. That's pretty much good, right? So if you want to change the color here to, let's say, any of bluish color like this, and it's also good, right? Okay, let's maintain this. This is awesome. Cool. So next is for the header. Now we have the header, right? So let's continue to implement. Now we are done with the nav bar here, right? So let's continue add the final one. We're going to add this content inside. So let's have the HTML skeleton. So after the nav bar, it ends here. After our nav bar here, all right, sorry, this one, nav bar here, let's add comments here and call this one header. So for this header tool, let's add a section or even a div. A section is okay, a different section. All right, and a section, let's add a class name, and let's call this one header wrapper. Header wrapper. Cool. So in between that, I'm going to use a flex box for styling. So you need to have a container and have some padding around it. So for that, we're going to have two things inside. Two things are, the final one is this one, the text here and the form. So first, let's add the text, right? So let's have a div, and this div is going to wrap all the text. So let's have a class name of header text wrapper, header text wrapper, like that. So the first header, the first div, and in between here, let's add h1, and let's call this one welcome to, and let's have some line break, br, welcome to KNUST portal, KNUST portal. Save it, and let's see what we have. There we go, we see it here. Cool. So next is, let's add p tag, p element here. Let's have some lorem text here. All right, we can go to any website called lorem, and for dummy text, it's pretty much easy. What you need is click on libsum.com, and then you can copy any of the text and then paste it inside the project. So I use a shortcut called, I just type lorem, and then VS Code give me that import automatically. So next is, I have it. As you can see, what we're developing, we have it as that. But next, you need to have a button called register. So below that, let's add one tag called button, and then in between, let's call this one register, and let's give it a class name, a class called register for styling. Register. Save it, and let's check it out. There you go. It's ugly, don't worry. and I'm going to style it as you proceed. So let's add, so this is called one chart, this one wrapper, and this one wrapper. So next one, let's add the form. So div, so you can have a comment here and call this one form. So here div, right, and let's call this one a class name called form container, like that. And then in between that, let's add h1 and call this one apply now. We have apply now. Where is it? Sorry. Apply now. Okay. So let's add the actual form element. So form. And then for the form, let's add some input field. Input, and then let's call this one type of text. All right, and let's have some placeholder, and let's call this one username or first name. And then we can copy this one 3 times. 1, 2, 4 times. Let's call this one last name, and then let's call this one password, and then the last one here, that's going to be the input, right? So let's give it a button type. So for button type, it has no placeholder, but instead it has a value. Let's call this one login. Save it, and let's see how ugly it will be. There we go. So as compared to the final one, because CSS is not yet being applied. So let's continue to do that. So let's add some, I think for the login, let's add a class name btn so that it can apply. Remember, we have a class name called btn, was it btn login, like that. Okay, so we're going to start differently as compared to, so what do we have? Let's see why this not, why do we have this? Okay, class called btn login. Yeah, that's it. Let's go final one. We have this and we have that. I think you can read the same class names, right? So the class name we use here, btn, is called where is it? Was it login btn? So we can apply the same class name so that it make our life easier. So let's apply the same class name as login btn so that we have this nice one. But I think that one will be large, so let's maintain our class name btn login. Okay, good. So next is let's style it to have this nice layout. So first thing first is let's go ahead, and then for the header here we have that, and the next header wrapper, this one, the header wrapper, we're going to use flexbox to align it perfectly. So header wrapper, so copy that, and let's come here, paste it, and let's call this one display to be flexbox, and let's check it out. Now you see that we have this text here and this text over there. So next, justify content, let's call this one space around. We have some spacing around them. There we go. Okay, cool. So next, for margin of 20 pixels on both sizes, and check it out. There we go, on both sides 20 pixels, or only 30 pixels, okay, 30 or 40 is up to you. 40 is okay. Okay, so now let's start the form container. The form container is for the form, this one, for the form container also. So let's continue to style the form container too, and here comes, let's give it a width of 40%. Okay, 40% of the parent size. Okay, there we go. and let's give it a background color of say RGBA, and then let's provide the first one to be 7, the blue to be 7, and then let's add this one 1, and then 0.39, and let's see, we see that the final one, there we go, we have it there. All right, so next is let's give it a height of 100%, a height of 100% of the parent container. Okay, so for the border, let's give it a border of 1 pixel solid border here, semicolon, 1 pixel solid green hard coded color. Okay, cool. Now you see have the border around it, and let's give border radius of 10 pixels, border radius of 10 pixels. Check it out, there we go. Okay, so margin top, let's give it as 80 pixels at the top. Okay, we have that. And then for the padding, let's give it padding 20 pixels, right? 20 pixels, and then not PS but pixels. Let's see what we have. Okay, cool. So let's give it a height of 500 pixels, and let's see, there we go. So next, let's style the form itself. So here, let's toggle the form element, and display also to be flex, because I want to be in a row. There we go. So let's have some justified content. This one, justified content to be center, like that, and align items. Let's add a display flex direction to be column on top of each other, and there we go. And let's align items to be center. Okay, cool. So next is let's style the why the text is not here. Okay, we do that. So if you remove the align items, it contains the entire flow. Okay, I think it's okay. So next, let's add the style of the H1. So let's add the form container H1, this one, form container, and let's toggle the H1. So here, dot form container H1, and then let's add a color. This time around, let's add a hard coded color called white, or FFF is cool. There we go. And let's add font size of 2 rem. Let's see. Okay, it's bigger now. Okay, and let's align the text. So text align, let's give it center, and it has been perfectly centered as that. All right, so I think we can have padding and margin of the text. So let's give it padding for the top. Let's give it 20 pixels, and then 0 on both sizes. Okay, it's cool. It's okay now. So next is let's add the individual input field, and here we have a special selecting. So you want to select all the input that has type of text. Input of type of text. This is how you're going to select it, or you can give it a custom class name, say class name of username, class name of input, whatever. But I want to use the built-in called input and the type of text. So for the input that has a type of equal to text, then I can go ahead and then style it like that. Cool. So here, border radius for that, let's give it 4 pixels. Let's see. All right, it's not that visible, but you will see it soon. Let's give a background color of transparent. Let's see. Now you see it's transparent now. So next is let's give a padding for each. Let's say padding of 10 pixels, and then let's say margin top top, let's give it 20 pixels, and then on the both sizes 0 pixels. So let's see what we have. Now we have it as that. Cool. On we go. So for the border, let's give it border radius is 10. Was it 10? Oh, border radius is supposed to be 10. 10 is okay for us. And let's give it the color of the border. So 1 pixel solid. Was it yellow? Let's give yellow and see. Yeah, I think it's too harsh, right? So let's add RGB color and have some RGB. And for the red and green and blue, for red 209, and for the green, let's give it as also 209, and for the blue, let's give it 176. Yeah, I think it's okay. Sorry guys. And let's give it a weight of 100%. Weight of 100% of the parent div. Okay, so let's add on focus. Okay, I want to remove. When I click on that, I don't see that focus. You see the outline. You see the outline, blue outline. I don't want that. So if you look at the final one, when I click on that, I don't see any outline about that. So let's remove that. I don't like it. If you want it, you can leave it as it is. So input of type this time around on focus. So when it's focus, sorry guys, on focus, I want to change outline supposed to be none. Okay, so let's check it out. When I click on the input, you see, let's refresh it. Oh, it's still there. It's still input type text and then focus. Sorry, there's no space. Yeah, make sure there's no space. As you can see, when I click on that, I don't see any, but I can still type. When I type, you see the text is black. So let's change the color to white of the input text. So color white, and let's increase the font size. So font size, let's change one to 1.2 rem. Let's see. Now when I type, as you can see, I have it. Or I can change to green. I think green would be more nice, right? Change one to green color. When I type, I need some greenish color. Yeah. There you go. All right, so let's start the button here, this one. So the same process. This time around, the type of text here, select the type which has input type of core button. So I can copy this one and then paste it here. On focus, no, and here the type is supposed to be button, like that. So let's give it a weight of 100%, and then background color, let's give it a background color of transparent, and then let's give it outline to be none, let's give it color to be white, FFF, and then let's give it border radius to be 10 pixels. Let's see what we have. The button, yeah, it's okay, but we are not done, so it's not that good. So border, let's give it border this time around is 2 pixels, and then solid, let's give it RGB, and then let's add 0, 255 and 98. There we go. But let's give it a pattern. So pattern on both sides supposed to be 10 pixels, and then there we go. I think both sides is no good. Oh sorry, it's pixels, not PS. Yeah, there we go. So let's give it margin top. Let's give it margin top to be 20 pixels and 0 on left and right. So on hover, the same. So let's copy this one. So when I hover mouse on that, so hover, and then let's change the background color to be RGB, and then 2114, and then 28. Save it, hover, there we go. But I want to have some pointer to be, the cursor to be pointer. So cursor to be pointer, so that with my mouse on that, I see that it changed to pointer. So I think the form is done. So let's go ahead. So should I change the text? This one, the background, I don't think the blue is beautiful. So can we bring it back? Something like this. Okay, I think it's okay. Yeah, this is okay. All right, so next let's style this one, the wrapper of the text. So the same process is this one. Let's select the header text wrapper, right? Let's select the header text wrapper. Come here, dot, and then let's add flex of 1 and type, and the margin to be 10 pixels. Let's see. Yeah, all right, and let's give it a color of white. The text hashtag FF. Let's see, there we go. So for margin, let's give it auto. All right, let's margin to be auto, like that. Cool, you see that perfectly aligned like that. So next, let's style the H1. So look at this one. Let's style the header text wrapper H1. So you can copy this one, and then let's select H1 only, and let's style it. So let's remove this one and add custom color. So first, font size supposed to be 5 rem. Sorry. And then color, let's give it some hard-coded yellow color. And then let's give it font family. We'll come back to that. As you can see, I think it's good, right? Welcome to Ken's Portal. As compared to the final one, the same thing as we have. So let's continue to style the p tag. Okay, so the same thing. Let's select the chart of this, which is called p. Let me show you here. H1 and then p. So we want to style the p tag, the paragraph. And the same process, let's give it a color of white. Is white okay? Or wheat? Okay. So yeah, I think it's okay. And let's give it a weight. You see it cramps around. So let's give it a weight of that. So the weight, let's give it a weight of, let's say 600 pixels, so that we have some. Yeah, there we go. So can we give it font size of say 15 pixels, and let's see, it's too small. Give it 30 pixels. Okay, it's too big. 20 pixels. It's too small. 25. It's okay. All right, so let's style the button here, and the class name we use is called register. Remember this one. So let's go ahead, dot register, and then also background color supposed to be transparent, and let's add color of white, hashtag FF, and then padding on both sides supposed to be 10 pixels. And then let's add border to be 0 pixels. Then there's no need. So why do I need a border of 0? Okay, so let's see. Oh, it's ugly. There's no border around it, right? So there's no border to be 0 here. So border here gonna be 2 pixels and then solid green. Let's use some hard-coded color this time around. Let's see. There we go. So let's give it some border radius, and let's give this one 10 pixels. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So let's give it a weight of 300 or 100%. Let's see. It's too much. Let's give it a fixed weight, and let's give it say 300 pixels this time around. It's okay. Yeah. And then margin top on top is close to the paragraph, so let's have some space. I think it's too small. Let me get 30. Yeah, so that has more space like that. So on hover, I want to change the background color. So dot hover, and there we go. Let's change the background color to be green, hard-coded again, and cursor to be pointer. Save it and let's see. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Cool. So now we are done with that. So next, let's add the responsive design. Okay, before we go ahead, so on a smaller screen, let me see, on the smaller screen, I want to hide these H links here and then bring it back the icons. So to implement responsive design, we have what is called Css Media Query, right? And we are going to apply it. Pretty simple to do. So let's come back to our CSS here and let's add comment here, Media Query, like that. For Media Query here, add media, and then on screen, on the maximum width of say 576 pixels, that is smallest screen size pixels, I want to change some of the class names. So again, I'm going to hide. Remember, this ones has its own class name, right? So I can even add, increase the font size of li. So if you come here, we have the li, the header here, margin li here, the nav links li. So sorry, let's add font size to this one. So let's call this one, let's add font size, let's call this one, let's say 20 pixels. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's working now, right? 20 pixels. Okay, it's okay now. So remember, the nav link wrapper li, let me check, show you one more time. You want to hide the whole of this one, the nav links, sorry, the ul. It's called nav links wrapper, right? You want to hide this one and bring it back the logo here, and then the menu bar, the hamburger icon here. So remember, this wraps everything. So you want to hide this one, okay? And the class name is called nav links wrapper. So inside my media query here, let's select the class name I want to apply. So dot all that and say, I don't want to hide it, but I want to change the position. Sorry, I want to change the position because remember, when I do something like this one on the smaller screen, as you can see here, we have all these things being crammed together. So I want to change this one to be a column, right? So I want to add a class name, a position called absolute, right? So position absolute. And we're going to take a parent that has a position called relative, right? So by default, I want it to be relative to the parent here, the parent. The parents start from where? Start from here, right? So when I add a position to absolute to this, it means that relatively to the parent. So I can now apply top and bottom, right? So top supposed to be 0. So now let's reduce the screen size and show you what we are referring to. So, okay, let me make it a little bit smaller this time around. Okay, like this. So now check it out. So when I add that, okay, let me bring this one here first. Top 0 and now, and then let's say right supposed to be 0 now, but it's not visible yet. So let's change, let's add some background color. Okay, background color, hard-coded color to be red. And now when I refresh it, you see that where it is, it's what? Relatively to what? To the top here, absolute. So now it's time to display all the link as a block, right? So let's give it a height of 100%. And let's see, you see that? And then on top 0, when I reach a screen size of maximum of 576 pixels, you see that it appears, which is relative to the parent. So now I want to change this one to be on column, to be in column on top of each other, right? So let's give it a width of, let's say 200 pixels, and the width is, yeah, this okay. So now let's change this one to be in columns, right? And those ones are the li. So let's add one class name here, select the Nav link wrapper and select all the li and say display block. Yes, display block means it takes each line, and let's give it a padding top to be 10 pixels, and let's see. There we go. I think it's okay. Yeah. So now let's bring it back the icons. Remember, we hide them. So it's called Nav Icons. Again, let me show you the Nav Icons. The Nav Icons are this one, the F8 times, the closing icon called Nav Icon. We hide it, and we hide this icon called the menu bar. So here, we want to hide the login button, right, and bring it back the menu. And the same thing, you want to bring it back the times icon. So Nav Icon, remember, you take Nav Icon of this one and this. So let's bring it back the icons. So dot Nav Icon, and all you do is that display to be block, so that to bring it back from unblock to block. And you can see we have that logo, that icon here. So if there is no this one, so let's uncomment this one, and let's see that we have that menu also there. So we want to hide this one and bring it from back. So we want to hide this one to the login button. So the same thing. So let's bring it back again, and now it's open yet. So I'm going to use JavaScript to click on that to toggle. Don't worry about that. So next is login button. Let's hide it. So dot login btn. Let's also display to be none, as that. There we go. So now the nav link, everything is working. So what has left is JavaScript. When I click on this one, I want to toggle and then untoggle that as that. So let's continue to add the toggle and untoggle to finish the nav bar. So I'm going to add some small JavaScript to it, but let's do it inline because this is not a big JavaScript code. We're going to add, so below the body here, before here, add. So let's add some JavaScript here, small JavaScript. So here, let's select the element. So let's add on this close button, let's add some ID to that. So the close button here, when it comes to the HTML, this one, for the times, this one, let's add a class name called ID. Sorry, let's add ID of, say, close ID, like that. And then, yeah, that's all what we need. And then what class name do we need to select again? Yeah, and we need to select the block as well. But for now, let's add some events on this close. So let's come here and then let's select that element. So script tag. Let's add some script. If you want to write JavaScript, add some script inside that. Okay, so my script tag here, like that. So in between here, let's write our function. So here, let's select the element. So close menu is equal to document dot get element by ID, and the ID is called close. Now we have that. So what I'm going to do is that we need to create a function. So const close handler or close menu handler, and this function will not take anything. And then close menu, I want to add a class name, style dot display, and let's add display to what? To none. Alright, we are adding a class name using JavaScript. And for the blog too, remember, let's also add a class name called ID. Right, and for that close menu, when you open it, you want to change it to blog. When you click on that, so let's copy this one again, this function, two functions, and then let's add open menu. Let's call this one open menu, and the only difference here is that change this one to blog, like that. So let's go ahead and then add the class name. Right, so here let's add the event to this icon, right, the close icon, and it's pretty simple to do. All what you need is add what is called on click, right? So on click, this icon here. So on click function from JavaScript, and then let's call this function. The function is called close handler. Close handler, like that. So let's save it and let's check it out. When I click on that, you see that icon is gone, but it didn't close the whole of the. So you need to add the class name well. So the close is supposed to be on, let me see, it's supposed to be on this, not on this li, but it's on the li, the whole of the li, the ul. You want to hide the whole of this. When I click on that, you see it's gone. When I click on this hamburger icon too, I want to bring it back. So let me change this one, this icon here, to be what's the name of the icon? Nav icon, to be pointer. So I don't think I'd add it here. Nav icon here, cursor to be pointer. So when I move my mouse on that, let's refresh it. As you can see, I have that. Bring it back. So now let me add the event open menu to the hamburger. So the same process. So let's come here, and then let's add this event called, is it open? Sorry, typing mistake. So open menu, and on the, where is the hamburger icon? This one. Okay, so let's add on click, and on click is equal to open, is it open handler, open menu? Yeah, that's a function name, open menu, like that. So it's on click, capital C, and let's check it out. When I click on this, close, open, close, open, close, open. That is pretty good, right? So, but this is not responsive. The home banner, we're going to apply that one too to make it more responsive. So I think, okay, let's add a responsive design to this one also. So let's continue on the responsive design of the home, and then all what has left will be the same syntax but different tweaks. So let's go ahead and then let's add the text wrapper. This one, let's change it on display to column. So on the smaller screen, instead of row, like go this way, you want to be like this on top of each other. So inside the SRC, sorry, the styles, and inside the media query here, let's add comment here and call this one header text. So dot header text wrapper, and then let's change flex direction to be column. Check it out. Let's refresh it, and on smaller screen, yeah, let me see. No, it didn't pick it up. So I think there's something wrong. Let me see, sorry. Let's see why on the smaller screen it didn't push on top of each other. Oh, we add a flex direction. So display flex. Sorry, I forgot to add the flex property. Let's refresh. Well, it's not obeying. Does not listen to me. So I think we are not selecting the actual wrapper. So it's supposed to be, this is a header container, sorry. So it's supposed to be header wrapper, right? Header wrapper, this one. Header wrapper, this one. Because header wrapper here, we made it to be, so instead of this header text wrapper, it's supposed to be header wrapper, like that. Let's refresh it. Well, it's not obeying me, listening to me on a smaller screen. Okay, I think we are not selecting the actual text. So nav links, okay. Let's check again. So on here, oh, it's supposed to be header wrapper. Let me see. We take this. Yeah. Header wrapper. This is a container, right? That wraps the whole of this one. So on a smaller screen, it's supposed to be row. So header wrapper here on a smaller screen, we want to change it to be. So with this, I believe. There we go. We see that. So on a smaller screen, let me make it bigger here, like that. So on a smaller screen, we see that it has pushed to be like this, right? So I want to have to be entire page. So instead of giving it a width, a custom width of the form container, we can make it width of 100%. So instead of this one, this okay, but the form container here, let's give it a width of 100%. So dot form container and give it a width of 100%. There we go. Did you see that? Now we have a width of 100%, but I want to hide it, you know, I don't want to bring it back. So what I'm going to do is that I want to hide this one. So display to be none. And that is it. You are gone. Okay, it's gone. Pretty good, right? So now this is also responsive, but the text is bigger on a smaller screen. I can reduce the size, and then the p tag tier 2 is also cramped together, but the text is inside the 8, this one. So what I'm going to do is that I want to reduce the font size of this one and reduce the width of this and make this one 100% to cover the entire page. Cool. So let's head over to the HTML here. Let's select header wrapper and then P, right? The paragraph. So here dot header wrapper, and for that let's give it a width of 100%. Okay, and there we go. And let's also add the font size for the H1. The font size is big. Font size, let's give this one supposed to be 14 or 15 pixels. Oh, it's too small. Let's give this one 1.2 rem. Also small. Okay, 3 rem. Yeah, this okay. Cool. So now it's also working perfectly as we are expecting. So let's go ahead. If you want to start this more, we can do it. When I increase the screen size, you see that it appears and goes, appears and goes. All right. So let's add. If you look at the final one, we have sorry, we have this three courses, right? So let's continue to implement that one also. So here for the courses below here, after this section, right, we have, let me check from here. Yeah, so after this section, yeah, let's add courses. Okay, I think the courses is not part of, yeah, so it come here outside, it's not part of the header. So courses, and then for the courses too, let's have a section section, and then let's give it a class name called course container, like that. And then let's have h1 and call this one our courses, right? And then let's have a row, so div, and let's not si but instead is div, div. So instead of div, let's give one a class of, say, course row. And then for the row individual, this is a row, and here let's have a column. Why am I typing si instead of div? So here, instead of this one, so here let's give a class of, say, course column core. So inside here we're going to add both. Look at the final one. We're going to add add the text, button, and the image, right? So first of all, let's add some image, img tag, and here we can download the image and put them in the asset folder, but let's reference them online. So let's go to pixelw.com and then let's select any let's call this one book. You can use any of the images of your choice. So for the book, I think we can use any of these images. So if you want to follow along, I'll provide with the same images. I'll provide all the images. So I think let's use, which one? I think this. Okay, for me, let's copy the image address, and then here for the img, let's provide src and add the image. So let's check it out. Save it, and there we go. We have the title here, this title. Okay, it's not visible yet. And we have the image. For the image, we also have the title, paragraph, and some button. So after the image, let's add the another container. That's going to be the overlay, right? Sorry, it's closing, not React. All right, so here for this container, it contains all the text for the overlay, right? So here class is supposed to be course overlay, like that. And let's provide h1. And the first course is called biology. I like biology a lot. Yeah, alright, and like that. And let's provide some p tag, and let's say some lorem text. Okay, and let's remove as many. I think it's okay. And lastly, let's provide a element. So let's call this one apply. And let's add some class name, so href, and let's add a class called apply, like that. So let's see what we have there, what we're developing. There we go. We see what we have here. So let's copy this one 3 times, right, to have this 3. So let's come back to our code, and for each column, copy it 3 times. So let me select the column text here, select all, and then let's copy 1, 2, and let's check it out. There we go. So where is css? Let's apply css to make it more beautiful, right? Let's apply css to make it more beautiful. So let's style it. So let's head over to css, and then for course row, this one, for the course row, where is it? We want to use flexbox. So for this one, after the header, okay, let's below the media query. So let's call this one courses dot course row, and then let's give it flex display flex, right? Yeah, let's give a display of flex, display flex. Let's see. Yes, as you can see here, we have flex direction. Okay, and then course row as that. So next is let's add some justified content to be center, right? Because you want to align everything in the center of the container. So flex, let's add justified content, and this one should be space around. Justified content is going to be space around. Let's see what we have. Okay, but image is bigger, but we will start later on, don't worry. Okay, so let's add the individual columns, right? Individual columns 1, 2, 3. So let's select that. Remember, we added course call for individual, and here let's add the core, and let's say flex basics. We want to start with, it's supposed to be 100, so each one to be 31, so that we can have some spaces around them. And then let's add a height of 100 pixels so that the image, 100%, so the image can have align the image inside that container, right? And then let's add position to be relative, because we want to align this one. We want this one, the overlay, the div overlay, to be relative to this parent. If you don't apply a position relative to this tag parent here, it's referring to the parent. So position relative here makes our life easier. And then for now, let's add some background color. Let's say red, for you to see what we have. And yeah, you see that it contains that. But for now, let's remove that. We want to use the image to put them inside. So let's have a margin bottom, because it's too skewed. Margin bottom, let's give it 10 pixels. So I have some margin here. I think it's too small. It's 20 pixels. It's okay. Okay, 20. But the image is too large. So let's add class name to the image. So we're gonna be course column, and then select the image img, and then here we go. Wait, here comes the magic, 100%. Let's see what we have. There we go. Did you see that? Okay, and then I don't have some space around, so let's have display to be blocked. All right, display to be blocked. All right, so now we have it, but I think we can add some margin to this, right? Because there's no space around that, and justified content. So course container is supposed to be 100%. So we have the course container, remember we have here. So let's add a weight of 100% so that we have some spaces around that. So here, course container, let's add a weight of 100%, right? So we have 100%, and then margin top, let's give it margin top to be 0, and then left and right to be auto. Okay, has no effect, but there is. So what we're going to do next is that we have the flex to be row, but let's have some spacing between them. So we can add that one to the individual columns. Oh, 31%. Let's see. Flex PC, so that we have both. So the row of this one is 100, so 30, 31 could be 100, and the rest should be spread around the edges. So but let's add 30. I think 30 is okay, so we have some spacing around that. Okay, so next is let's add the overlay, right? So let's put this one on top of this one on this image. So let's remember we have the overlay. Where is it? The individual, this one. So let's select this course overlay, and let's come here, dot that, and then position gonna be absolute. So absolute, we can now reference that, Alright, so now if you give it a top of 0, it will be on top of that. So top 0, you see, it's on top of that. Let's give it a background so that you're able to visualize what we are doing. For now, let's give it red background color. There we go. So next is, let's add left to be 0, left 0, and let's give it width of 100% and height also 100% to cover the entire div of its parent. There we go. But instead of this one, let's add some RGB transparent color. So RGB, and let's add the colors 255, 98, and the opacity 0.5. And I believe we're gonna have it. There we go, as compared to the final one. So we can change the images if you prefer. So let's come here and we can change one of the images. We have 2 images now, so you can change the image as you prefer. Okay, so we have display flex. So now I want to be centered. Okay, let's change this one. Let's change this one image, this image. So let's select this image. Okay, yeah, or we should select this. Oh, sorry, this one. All right, so you check the one. So now I want to align. Okay, let's copy the image address, and then let's come here and select one of these images and change it, save it, and let's see what we have. Okay, one is selected. So I want to put this one in the center, but because this one has a height and width of 100, I can use flex box to align that. So inside the overlay, display to be flex, and then let's give it justify content to be center, and then align items also center, and let's see what we have. Now it's a center, but flex direction, let's give it column on top of each other. There we go. Cool. But I want to have on a hover effect as final one. You see that we have some blur. As you can see, when I hover mouse, it's change the color and change to blur. Right. So what I want to do is that when I hover my mouse on this one, I want to bring back opacity. So the first thing first is that let me add opacity of 0. Now everything is gone because the text is on top of that overlay. So if there's no opacity, the text and the button are not visible, right? So, but when I hover my mouse on that, I want to bring it back, right? So image overlay here, image overlay, and on hover, change the opacity to 1. Check it out. You see, when I hover mouse on that, it changed the opacity to 1, so it's visible. But I don't want to have some, the bringing is not that smooth. The final one, you see, is really smooth. So, and it's coming from top to the bottom to the top. So let's add some transition to the overlay. So here, let's add a transition of that core of that container transition. Let's call this, let's add 0.5 seconds. 0.5 seconds. So when I just move my mouse on that, the final one, you see, we have that. But I want to move the text from the bottom, okay? From the bottom. And then it's now moves smoothly in the middle of the page. So let's also add some blur to the image, and pretty simple to do. I think this property is compatible to most of the browsers. So let's have backdrop filter, right? So backdrop filter, and I'm gonna use blur, and then let's add 5, and that is it. So let's check it out. So when I hover my mouse, you see, is it blurring? You see that? Yeah, you see that? You see that how blurry it is. Look at this one. I think you can see it well. You see So you can see that will match. But look at this one, you see that it's like blurred from here, as you can see. So now it's working, but I want to move. When I hover mouse on that, I want to push the text bottom and then bring it back. So I need to select, but for the meantime, let's apply some class names to the button, the apply. Remember, we use applied class to all the apply. So let's select the apply button here, and let's come here and style it. So dot apply, and margin top, let's add margin top to be 20 pixels, and then background color, let's add some reddish color here, hard-coded color, and border radius, let's give it as 5 pixels is okay. And then let's give it a color of white. We can use any colors of your choice. And then font weight, let's give it 200. And then let's have padding top and bottom, padding top to be 5 pixels, and then left and right 30 pixels. Okay, and then border, let's give it, if you want to add border to it you can, but if you want it solid, or and then let's give it yellow. All right, and then text decoration to be none. Let's see. Now you see that we have that effect. All right, but I want to push the text down, and when I move my mouse on it, I want to bring it back from top to the bottom, and I want to select both the H1 paragraph and the button, and I can use another CSS selector. You can see that I want to select everything inside the overlay, and I can use this selector called .that and greater than every child inside. So it means that every child element inside this overlay might be selected, right? It means that I'm going to select both H1, P tag, and the href, the H tag. So when I select that, or I can add a class name common to each of them, and I can select them, but it's a shortcut way of doing that. So by default, I want to transform and translate Y. So, okay, so on the y-axis, by default, I want to push it down 60 pixels. So like that, as you can see here, it's pushed down 20 pixels, right? If you doubt, let me increase and make it, let's say 300. You can see that to push down 300, there's no more, right? But you see that it has pushed away from its container, but it's too much. So let me add, let's say 50 pixels, and let's see. Yeah, you see that for 50 pixels from the top here. So, and then let's add. So when I hover my mouse on that, I want to bring it back to 0, right? So I'm going to select everything, and then on hover, I want to bring it back to, so here. So let me select everything again like that, and then paste it here. And then what I'm going to do is that before the greater sign, let's say hover. When I hover my mouse on that, like that, I want to transform y-axis, bring it back to 0 pixels, right? Check it out. You see, but it's not smooth. You see that it's sharp, right? So I want to delay. So what I'm going to do is that I want to add this some transition when it comes in. So transition here, let's give it 0.5 seconds, and let's see. There we go, right? The final one, there we go. Okay, so now it's working. So you can add more style to the H1 in the paragraph, right, if you want. So let's also align this one in the middle here, the H1. So let's check the class name for that. So you can select the course overlay H1, right? So here, course overlay, let's select this class name, course overlay, and then H1, and let's align text align to be center. Let's see. Okay, it didn't obey the align of that. So let's see again. Our margin supposed to be auto. Let's see. I'm not sure it will work. Margin. Okay, so we can, let's start later on. So as you can see here, now let's see what we have. Section, and we have this, our courses. Our courses is now pushed from the left side. But for now, okay, let's see the final one. Oh, for now we don't have it, so you can maintain it. So let me remove that. Let's imitate the final one, right? You can add it and style it. It's pretty easy. Cool. So let's add some margin top, right? As you can see, after I remove the H1, so for the course column, let's add some margin top. Where is it? Course column. Course column. Here. Margin top. Let's give it, let's say 30 pixels. Okay, pretty much. Okay. So next is, oh, I think it's too much. What have we done? Let's remove that. I'm not sure it's supposed to be on that. Yeah, okay. I think the display of this one, the H1, the translate is too much. So the translate here, let's give it 20 pixels. I think it's okay. Yeah. But why the H1 is being pushed down? Oh, sorry, because this one's H1. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, cool. Or we can bring it back to the translate. Where is it? Our translate method. I think the previous 50 is okay, or 40 is okay to make more. Yeah. All right. So next is let's add the next one will be the fixed background, and also going to be pretty easy to do. So let's go ahead and add the fixed background, right? So we have our courses, and we have the next going to be fixed background. So after our courses here, let's add comment. Call this one fixed background, and I'm gonna add only one div, and then here all what I need is I'm gonna add a class called fixed background bg container. So let's go to CSS and then style it, fixed background container, and also going to be pretty easy to do. So we're going to import the, what do you call it, image. So here let's add background, and then let's give it a height of 100 VH to cover the entire viewport. For now, let's give it a background color of red to see what we are doing. You see that we have that. So I want to add some image. So let's go back to pixabay.com, and you can use any image of your choice. So I'm going to use the image I use here. I'll provide a description. I don't remember the name. So you come here, pixabay.com, and search any image of your choice. So this is the image I selected. This image that I selected. So let's come here. Instead of this background color, let's provide a background, and this is going to be a linear gradient as we did. So here going to be linear gradient and top, and to make our life easier, we can even copy that. Okay, sorry, the background one, you can copy this one, the whole of this one, right? And then come here for the fixed background, going to be the same thing, and then let's place it here. So I want to change the image. I'm going to use this image. and then place it here. Okay, like that. Cool. So the difference here is that you see this image. So when I refresh it, there we go. But as you can see, it's moving along with the other image. I want to be fixed, so let's add one more property to it. After adding cover to be sized, let's add background repeat. Give it no repeat, and then let's give it background attachment. That is really important. Make it fixed attachment. Let's call this one fixed, and then last one going to be, yeah, you see that it's fixed now. It's fixed background. There we go. It's pretty much what we need. Okay, yeah, it looks the same, right? Yeah, photocopy of what you're doing. So it's done. Next is let's add this section. You see we have this paragraph effect, like the line and other stuff. Let's add that one too. So let's add a section called parallelogram, right, in mathematics, right? So let's add that. So here, after the fixed image, let's add a comment and call this one shape. And for this shape, the div, let's give it a class name of parallelogram. And then there we go. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, and that is it. So let's style this one. Sorry, copy that, and let's come to CSS, and then let's style it. And gonna be pretty easy to do as compared to the other one, right? So let's come to the CSS here. Before the media query, let's add the class name. And let's see how we are going to style it, right? Fixed background. So here, let's provide a width of 90%, a width 90%, like that. And for now, let's give it a background color so that you're able to see what we're doing. Going to be hashtag 32557F. Let's see what we have. What we are doing. Okay, it's not visible yet because there's no height. So let's add a height of 20%, 20 pixels, and let's refresh it. Better still, it's not visible. Let's set the class name well if we are in the right track. Let's see. Yeah, we have it. Okay, let's add some text here and see if it's visible on the page. Oh yeah, sorry, it's there. Here we see here the bottom here. Yeah, we have it 90, but it's pushed to the left. So let's add some CSS to that. So let's come here and say margin to be auto, so that we have margin on both sides. Now we see that we have margin to be auto as that. But let's add more class names to it, and we want to have margin bottom. Okay, it's too close to that, and let's give it 20 pixels. Let's check it out and let's see. Yeah, so now let's have some skew. Okay, for now let's give a height of, let's say, 90% pixels, so that, yeah, more visible. We change 20 as you proceed. So let's have this kind of skewish style. You see that it's sharp at the end. So it's pretty simple to do using CSS. Gonna be transform, and then use what's called skew. And skew gonna be 50 degrees. 50 degrees. And let's see. It is sharp, right? There we go. So let's remove the text. This one, there's no text in between that. You see that is skewish. There we go. But let's change back to 20 pixels instead of 10 pixels, right? Was it 20 pixels? Sorry, this one, 20 pixels. Back to 20 pixels. There we go. Okay, so next is, now we have that one over there here at the top here. So let's add this section called the dean from the school. So let's call this one Dean of Students. Way back in my university, we have what is called Dean of Students, in charge of all students. So we're going to add one to that. So before, I think after courses, yeah. So before or after the fixed background and after this shape. So after this shape, yeah, here. So let's call this one message from Dean of Students. Okay, so there we go. So let's add a class name, a div, or let's have a section here, and let's call this one, let's call this one Dean message container. All right, and let's close the section here. Okay, so in between the container here, let's add Dean message row. So div here gonna be class name, class gonna be Dean message row. All right, and for the row, let's have a column, div, and then class also gonna be Dean img image container. Right, so Dean img image container for styling. Okay, so here we are going to add image. So you can copy any, come here, you can select any image, any of these images, and then paste it there. So I'll provide all the images I use. If you want, you can use my image. If you don't want it, you can use our own image. So let's add the img here. Better still, you can download all the images and use it locally. All right, so as I'll see, I will paste the image and then I'm good to go. So let me save it and let's see what I have. Check it out, and now it's big. So CSS is not applied, so don't worry. So let's add, after this image, this, you see we have the name, the position, and some signature, and it's by font. Okay, so after the image, let's add all these tag, and let's call this one Emmanuel. That's my full name. Okay, and let's call this one Emmanuel Chinibua. All right, some space, and then next one gonna be the position. Also, I'm the Dean of Students, and then next one gonna be my signature, and I'm gonna use P tag here, and I'll use Emmanuel. So let's add some classes to it. So class here, this one gonna be the Dean name, right? And this one, let's have a class of Dean say position, and then this one gonna be class of Dean signature. Okay, so let's see. All right, it's here. It's ugly, but don't worry. So after this, after the container, Dean image container, let's have this text here, this text over here, right? So after this one, let's add one more container here, and then let's give it a class name of Dean message row, sorry, column, like that. And then here, first of all, we have the h1, and let's call this one message from the Dean, from Dean. All right, and Dean has some messages for us, so let's add the p tag and let's have some relevant text from. There we go. Save it and let's check it out. Okay, it's here. There's no CSS, so don't worry. Next is, after the p tag, let's add some LUR or LI tag. So ul here, and then let's add class name to this. Sorry guys. And then let's have this one din underscore list underscore list container, like that. And then in between the lists, let's have the li, and for each li here we have an icon and a text. So li here gonna be a container, right? So we're gonna call this one class because of flexible. That's why you are structuring this in this way. Call this one din, and then list, and then items. Okay, so we have the mark. So you can go to font awesome icon and change and search for, let's say, check icon or mark. Is it mark or I forgot the name? Or check, yeah, it's check icon. I remember it's check icon. So you can search. No, it's check, and yeah, so you can select any. Let me check what I selected. This one, circle one, right? So let's see. Yeah, circle. So copy that, click on that, and then let's click on start using this icon and click on the icon here. So the first one going to be the list item. Let's add our icon here, and next going to be the text, right? So p, let's call this one some dummy text. Oh, okay, let's copy some of these ones and then place it here. Any dummy text. So let's see what we have, what we're developing. Now we have, see the image here, the icon is here, but it's ugly. So next is let's copy this one many times as you want. Let's copy 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's okay. Let's check it out. Yeah, there we go. So now let's go back to CSS and then start this one, make it more beautiful, right? So we are going to add a container. Because this is a container, we're going to flex this one out. So I think there's a wrapper, right? This is the din message row, right? And this is a din message, right? So we are going to add flexbox to din message row because it contains two children, 1 and 2. So for din message, let's go ahead and then also style it. All right, where am I? We are here. Comment, and we call this one din message. So first thing first is let's style the din message container. So like I said, din message container, right? And then let's give it a weight. The whole of this weight not 100%, but instead 90%, so that have some edges, right? So margin auto, we'll put it inside in the middle. Let's see. As you can see, we have some edges around that, but in the top here there is no space. So we are going to do that. So next one is let's select the din message row. This one, din message row, and add flexbox to it. So din message row, and let's say display flex, right? And then justify content to be center. Let's see. There we go. It moved on both sides. And next is margin. So margin for the top 30 pixels, top and bottom, and then sizes 0 pixels. There we go. All right. So next is let's style the H1. Where is it? Sorry guys, the H1 of the message. So din message column H1. So here again, din message H1, and let's add font size. Let's say font size to be 3rem or 3M. Yeah, it's over there. And then let's change padding on both sizes to be 20. It's okay. Yes. All right, so next is let's style the image container. This one, the din image container, the whole of this one, right? So let's select that din image container, and then let's style it. So here, margin right, let's give it 200 pixels, and then display flex, and then flex direction on top of each other, so column. Now there we go, you see that. So next is align items and justify content. So align items center and justify content center. Okay, you see that we have it, the image, everything is the center of the image. So let's style the image, right? So here the image class we use is called, we can select the Din image container image. So this one again, so let's select the Din selector, Din image container, and then you select the img. So here let's select this class name and let's target the img. And then here let's add border to be 50%, border radius to be 50%, to be rounded, and that is very big, but it's too big, oh my god. So let's give it a weight of, let's say 300, so that it's a little bit smaller, and there we go, as compared to the final one. There we go, there we go. So next is, let's style this one, the message. So Din message list container, this one, Din message list container, this one. Select this one to be flexible because we have li here and want to align this one, the text and the list. So below that, let's select and say display to be display flex, and then let's have flex direction to be column, and there is it, right? Alright, so let's continue and style the list items. This one, see that I want the bulletin, I want this one to be something like this. So I want to target the container for the list, and it's called list items. This one, the individual ones has a class, and we can use flexbox to align this one because it's a children of this. So I can select this one and come here, and then let's say display to be flex. Check it out, final one, sorry, yeah, you see that now everything is gone. So next is justify content flex start. Justify content, this time around I want to be flex start at the beginning. There we go, but this one is not part of this one now. Alright, the reason being that this container, the message, sorry, let me go down here, let me show you. Scroll down here. This container is not part of this one, right? So this one is a parent on its own, and this a parent on its own. So for these two parents, we have a container that wrap the two. So for this container, we can add flex direction of column so that to be on top of each other. So let's go back to the HTML file and let's see, locate what we have. So as you can see here, this div Din message column, when you select on that, you see that it wraps all the li and then this text as well. So we have the h1 and p tag as that. So let's add flex direction on the Din message so that it can align these individual children on top of each other. So let's select this, and then let's go back to the CSS and not the media query. So still under starting the Din. So here let's add display flex. If you add that, let me bring this one here so that we can visualize quickly. If you add that, you can see that it's new row. So I want to have on top of each other. So the difference, the only thing I have to do is flex direction to be column, and the last thing is align items to be center and justify content to be center. Flexbox. There we go. So as you can see, but the width of the image here of the paragraph is long, so let's add some margin or width of the paragraph. So we can select the din message core and then p tag, and you can give it, let's select this one and style the p element like that, and select the p element here, and let's give it a weight of a fixed weight of, let's say, 200 pixels. Let's check it out and see what we have for that. Oh, it's too short, so let's say, or let's give 50% of the entire weight. Yeah, but this one also being scrumped together, so I think we have another p tag. Oh, we also have p tag inside it, that's why it's being cramped together. So here, better still, or we can remove some of the length. It can be a small element here, and then let's change, instead of this one, let's remove that. Or better still, we can go ahead and apply some class name to that. Or if you want to have more text, let's undo that and let's add just a class name to start this particular class name. So let's call this one din message. Let me call this one din paragraph, whatever, din paragraph, so I can start this particular text here. Alright, so here let's select that, add some custom, and let's say weight, let's give this one a weight of, let's say, 500 pixels, and let's see. Alright, I think we can make it more, or 800 pixels here. Yeah, it's okay. And let's change the font size. The font size is small. Let's give this one 18 pixels, and let's see, it's still small. Let's give it 25 pixels here of the font size. It's too big, make it 20. Yeah, I think 20 is okay. And let's have some margin or padding around it. So padding left and right, let's give it as 10 pixels. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's okay. So next is, let's style the list here. As you can see, we have some spacing around it. There's no space, and then the I tag is not even styled nicely. So let's go back, let's come back here, and let's select all the li and the I tag, and we can select the din list items, or we can select the far, mean that is the icon, the class name. So better still, we can style that and give it a color of red, hard coded color. There we go. And let's increase the font size. Let's have a font size of 1.2 rem, and let's see. Yeah, and let's have some padding around it, 10 pixels. Yeah, that is pretty much. Yeah, but let's also add some align items. See that the text is being cramped away from it. So let's add on the flex items here. Let's add one more item called align item to be center. To be center of that. So I think it's cool, right? Yeah, I think this is okay for our purposes. So we can also increase the font size of that, and the paragraph here, this li. So let's select that, so to be or we can add class names, or it's okay for now. Yeah, let's maintain that way. Okay, so the next step is that let's add, if you look at the final one, you can see that we have some, let me open it here for you to see. The final one, we have this signature, or so-called signature, and as you can see that here we have some different font sizes. So let's head over to Google, and then let's download a couple of fonts that we can use in our project. So here we can, let's search for Google font, right? So Google font, sorry, Google font, not Google like that. Okay, but still that's taking us there. So we're going to select a couple of fonts that we can use in our project, right? So the first one, so you can select any font of your choice. So let's select the font I use in the project called AC, or is it admin or what? Yeah, this one. I use this one as a header, so click on that, and then let's select, click on select, where is it, this one, select this style. Alright, and then I also added another font, so let's also go ahead and search for another font, and it's called Flare. What's the name? Was it Flare or Flare Dila, whatever the name of the font? So you can select any font of your choice. This one, okay, that's like, it looks like a signature font style. And the last one will be the source sans. Okay, so like I said, you can use any font of your choice. All right, so here it's called Source Sans Pro. I think called Sans Pro. Is it this one or that? I think this one, right? Why this one is not giving me? I think this one, but look at how ugly it is. Yeah, this one. And let's add to the selection, and we can see a couple of styles. Okay, so the next step is that come here, as you can see, let's copy the whole of this one, or the font, and copy that, and let's come back to our project, and inside the header let's add this. So let's add the font here. There we go. Cool. So let's style it, and the font family, so put your eyes on the icons here, the font here. As soon as, let's go to the styles, and then remember, it has given us the way we can use it. If you look at it here, it means that the font family we can reference. So what I do is that you can copy the whole of this font here. Alright, copy that, and then this font I'm talking about here, custom rules, and then let's come back to the CSS, and then above here let's paste it here. That's how I prefer to do it. Paste it here, and then let's comment it out. And I know that I have this font I can use, this async here. So let's provide the default font for the entire page, font family, and let's use the Source Sans Pro, this one. So copy this one and then place it here. Save it, and let's see the effect now. As you can see, it has changed the font size. Everything is changed now. So you can add, depend how you want your font to be, you can change it the way you want. So if you look at the final one, we have the title, sorry, was it Sans Pro or what? I think the different font. So let's try again, and then let's use this one and see if that's what we have. Let's try and see, check it out, and let's see. Oh no, this one is for the, I think is this one. No, I'm not sure. It's this one. Let's try all the fonts and see the one that is good for us. And yeah, yes. Oh, it's too dark, right? Okay, so let's bring it back to this one. Yes, sorry guys. So you can try any of the font you want. Okay, so what has left is that for the H1 we're going to use this flare, right, or the async. So for the p tag, for the name of the din, so here welcome portal, and for the name let's locate where we have the din, this one. So din signature. So let's copy this, and then let's style it here. Scroll down, and we have the din here. So let's add the class, select that, and then the font family for the din is, we're going to use that async, what was it, async, this one, I think, yeah, this one, flare. So copy that, and then let's add it to the din, where is it, sorry guys, yeah, this one. So here, font family, and then let's paste what we have. Save it, and let's see. as you can see here, we have it here. So let's increase the font size. So font size, let's give it 3 rem, and let's see how big it is. Yes. And let's change the color. Let's give a color red or any color of your choice. This is cool, right? Or let's add red color. Alright, yeah, I think it's okay. So now we have started the signature of the dean, right? So next step is that let's add some pattern. Well, this is okay, but what about the name and this one? We can add some style to it, or better still, you can leave it the way you want it. Or if you don't want to add the default class names, you can remove this one from here, and I think it's pretty okay. Alright, so next step is that we're going to work on the last part of it, going to be the block, right? The block. As you can see here, for the block 2, we have this paragraph drawing here. This one I'm referring to. So let's add a section for the block, and we are almost done with it. So here we're going to add a section for the block and the footer, right? So first and first, let's work on the block section. So let's come back to our HTML, and then after the section here, let's add comment here and call this one blog. And for the blog, we're going to have a section of the blog, and let's add a class. Let's call this one blog container, like that. Okay, and then let's add h1. Let's call this one blog, like that. So inside it, we're going to have a row, right? So here, after h1 div, and then let's add a row, a class of blog row, and in between the row, you're going to add the individual columns, right? So the individual columns that contains that. So here, let's add div, and let's add class name of blog column, and in between it, we're going to add the individual images and text, right? So img, and as usual, like I said, you can download all the files and place them in your assets and reference them, or better still, you can use some online resources. So you can, let's go to pixabay.com, and let's search for freelances images we can use. So here we can search for any image of your choice, right? So we can select something about blog education, right? So we can call this, let's search for students. Okay, and you have a couple of them. So we can select this one and click on that, and click on copy image address. So let's come back to our code, and for the src, let's paste that, and then let's check it out. There we go. So you have a block and you have this image, and for after the image, we're going to add another h1. So h1, and then call how to apply. The title of the block is called how to apply, and I want to style this one differently, so I'll give it a class of blog title, like that. And then we have a paragraph of the text, and let's have some lorem text, and I don't have the, okay, we can copy some of the text here and then place it in there. All right, there we go. Okay, so the last thing is, let's add, after the p tag, let's add a link tag called href, and this href, let's call this one, let's add in between read more, and let's add a class name local for that. The last thing is, we have the overlay. If you look at the final one, this one, you can see we have this overlay here. You see at the top corner over the div. So after the href, let's add a div and let's add some title inside called signs, and then let's add a class called block overlay. Alright, overlay. Alright, cool. So now let's save it and let's see what we have, what we're developing. There we go. So let's copy them. How many do we have? We have 3 or 4 for the final one, four times. So let's copy the columns. This one, line number 187 columns. So let's select that and then paste it 3 times, right? So 1, 2, 3. Save it and let's check it out. We have 4 times. So let's do magic with it to style the block. All right. So here, remember we have a block header. So where is it? We don't have block header here, but instead we have block container, right? So for the block container, should we add some margin? So let's select that and then let's come here below in order, right? So let's scroll down before the media query here and let's call this one block. So first of all, let's add this container, and first let's see the background for testing purposes. We're gonna delete as we finish. Okay, so now we have that. We know that this is the container that wraps the whole of the block. All right, so let's go again step by step. So for the columns, we have the individual so for the row, we have the individual columns, right? So we have 3 parents. So let's select the block row, right? For the block row, here, let's display as usual flex, and we have the magic happen. There we go. So because the image is big, so justify content here, let's justify content to be center. Okay, so let's continue to style it. So for the individual columns, let's have a flex basis, right? So for the individual columns here, let's have a weight, or for the meantime, let's say flex basis, because what do you call it? We have 4 items, so let's give it 20%, right? Or 30%. So for now, nothing happens because I'm not seeing the effect now. So the next step is that we need to style the image, right? So let's select the block and then let's select the image inside this block column, and let's have weight of 100%. So let's see, as you can see, we have it 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So but for the container, block container, we have it there. So let's give it 30% and let's see. Yeah, 30% is okay, but there's no space, so let's give it let's say 28%, so that we have some margins around it. Okay, so we have that. So for the individual columns, we have the weight of 100% and the image 100%. So let's have some pattern around it, right? So let's add some align items to be center. Is it okay with that? Okay, center here. Let's remove the background. So let's undo this one and let's see, let's undo this container, the color here, and I think it's what we want. So for the individual columns here, let's have margin around each of them. Let's give it 10 pixels of each, and I think it's okay. It looks good. So next thing is that we want to push this signs here on top at the right corner here, left corner here, each of them. So, and pretty easy. Remember, if you add a position relative to this, we are going to reference this chart in relative to this container. So we can add, so if you add a position of absolute, it means that you can use top and bottom and left and right property. So let's go back to the image, the element here, and we have the block image overlay. So copy that, and then let's add, first of all, let's have some background color of green, some hard-coded color though it's okay. Yeah, we have it, green, but I want to push it at the top here. So let's add position to be absolute. So for the absolute, as you can see, if you add top 0, you can guess it's gonna put at the top of the page. So you see that it has been moved from the flow, and now it's at the top of, as you can see, where they are being pushed up to, because the parent, by default, a parent has a position of relative. So it's looking through the container or a div or a parent that have a position called relative, and it looks through, there is none of them, but the parent, the body, has it by default. So to tell it to be relative to it, to this immediate container, so let's add it here, and let's call this one position to be relative. So with this one, let's see, now it's relative to that. As you can see, it's being pushed here nicely. So top 0, and let's give it left also 0, and let's add some padding, right? Let's add some padding or weight. So padding of that, let's give it a padding of 5 pixels, and then let's add a height of 30 pixels, and after the height, let's add text align to be center, like that. And let's continue add the properties to it. So we have another one going to be the position, the background is green, it's okay. Border top right radius. As you can see, the final one, you can see we have a sharp corner here, right? A sharp corner here. So the padding is not good, it's small. So on the left, top and bottom is okay, top, but right and left, this is okay for us. Or better still, top and bottom, let's give one 10 pixels and see. Yeah, okay, 5 is okay. Alright, but let's have that sharp corner over there. So here the property is called border top right radius, and let's give it as 40 pixels. You can see we have that sharp edge over there, and let's change the color of that to be white. FFF, like that. Okay, cool. So I think that one is okay. So let's center the title here, right? The blog title, because it looks something ugly. So we have blog and then title, and text align, let's add left, the blog title here, left. Okay, and then for the paragraph 2, so we have that. So let's start this one, align center, block container h1. So we have block container h1 and text align center. Yes, we have it. And let's change the font size. Let's give this one, let's say 4 rem bigger. You see, it's applied to all of the h1, right? So let's add a specific class to the h1. So let's call this one I should like block container h1, because it's selecting all the h1 inside that. So block container, let's add specific class name. So class is going to block container title, something like that. So let's select this class name, and then instead of this, let's use this, so that apply to that only. Okay, so it's big, let's make it 3 rem. Yeah, it's okay. And for the individual, individual what do you call it, columns, we can add some margin below. But if you look at the final one, after the dim message, we have another fixed background here that the image changes. So the same process we did for the fixed background. So let's come here, and where we have fixed background here, we can copy this one, and then after the image, after the dim message here, let's see here, let's add fixed background also here, fixed background, and let's paste that in the same style. So if you save it now, check it out. As you can see, we have it here, but the image is the same, right? The image is the same. So if you want to have a different image, all what you need is, let's say, let's add container 2, right? And let's come back here, and where we have the style for the fixed background, we can copy the style. Where is it? Let me scroll up here, where we have the fixed background for, no, I think I'm moving somewhere here after the apply background and paragraph here. Yeah, is it after dim message? I think somewhere here. Sorry guys, I forgot where courses, and I believe we have, is it header here? No. Sorry guys, I just want to locate the style for the fixed background, but I can search for paragraph here, dim message here. Let's, what's this now? This blog media query. Okay, so let's find here fixed background. Oh, as you can see, you quickly find it. So we can copy this one and paste it, right? But the class name, the class name is container 2, right? So now I can change the image of this. I can change the image of that. So I can quickly come here and change the image. So you can use any image of your choice, right? Or better still, let's use this one. Copy that, and then let's paste it here. Any image that goes. Alright. Yeah, I think it's okay. We have that. The image here. So we have the blog section here. The last part is going to be the footer here. And going to be pretty easy to do using Flexbox. Alright. Cool. So let's continue to add the last part of the video called footer section. So let's head over to the HTML, and the last part is going to be the footer here, like that. And first let's add a section, and automatically give me a footer container. So let's add footer wrapper, like that. So in between the footer, let's add div, and for this div, let's add a class called footer columns. And then for the columns, we have the individual rows, or better still, div dot, to move faster, footer, and then row. Alright, so for the row, in between the row, we have the title. Okay, so let's add h1 here. This h1 has no, okay, has a title, so let's add dot footer title. Sorry, it's footer title, not footer tick. So the footer title here, first let's call this one about us, and then after that we have some UL, LI links. So UL, and for the UL2 we have a class name called footer links. So footer links, and then in between we have the LI. LI has no class names, so but in between we have href, right? So this href is gonna have, first of all, home. So let's have some hashtag so that it will move us to the home page. So if you have home, we can copy this one, let's say 3 times or 4 times, depending how you want it. So we have home, we have about, and we have mission and vision. So mission, and the last one going to be the vision, right? Like that. All right, so the next, another one going to be another footer row, right? The same thing. So we can copy that footer length, this one, copy this one, and then we can paste it. How many times we have here? Let's check the final one. We have 1, 2, 3. So let's paste it 2 times. 1, 2. So let's save it and let's check it out. What we have. There we go. Right? So let's go ahead and style it. And it's going to be pretty easy to do using Flexbox. So the last class name we're going to add to this here before the media queries here, dot footer wrapper. And then background color of this one going to be 021 407, something like darkish color. So let's check it out what we have. The final, sorry, yeah, we have it. And let's have a width of 100% to cover the entire width, 100%. So next is, let's have a margin of auto. And let's see, yeah, it's okay. So next is, let's style the individual footer columns. So as you can see here, we have the individual footer columns here, this one. So we can style this one individual here as Flexbox. So here, where the footer, where is it? Yeah, style. Oh, where? Oh, here. So let's select the footer column here and say display flex, and let's check it out. We see here, as you can see. So let's have some space between them by using flex justify content to be space between, space around. With this, we have space around them. Beautiful. Cool. So the next step is that let's have a minimum height of say 60%, and then padding top and bottom 30 pixels and left and right 0 pixels. All right, there we go. So next, we see that we have the text here, but it's dark. We are going to style it, don't worry. So let's select the individual columns li tag. So li here, and let's style it. Say the color is supposed to be white, FFF, and then text decoration supposed to be text decoration none. Yeah, not this one, sorry, list style, sorry, it's supposed to be list style none. Okay, so let's select the href element, the a element li, and then for the a element, so text decoration here is supposed to be none. We don't have that underline. And let's change the color to be white. So I don't think here the white applies. So let's add the white color here to the li element. So look at the final one as that. There we go. All right. So let's increase the font size. So font size, let's give this one 19 pixels or 20 pixels or 22 pixels, depending how you want it. Okay, and let's have some padding. So padding here, let's give it as 20 pixels between them, It's okay. Yeah. Or better still, we can add more. Or the padding is supposed to be on the LI. Let's try and see. Yeah, supposed to be on the LI. So the 10 is okay. 10 pixels. Yeah, it's okay. So let's style the headings here for each. Okay. So footer title. The class name is called footer title. And let's have a color of something like greenish, so RGB, and RGB 87, something like greenish 143 and 999. Yeah, and there we go. We have as same as we have previously in the final one. The final one, you see, we have made a exact copy of that. You see, that is it. Okay, so let's continue to style it. So when I put my mouse on it, I want to change the color and everything. And the last thing is we're going to add some responsive design, and we are done for this video. Alright, so on hover, we want to indicate or tell the user that this particular link is being hovered. So let's add a simple state to that. So remember, if you look at the structure of the application, on the footer section here, we have a class that we can tackle, and you can select the LI and the A tag. So let's go over the CSS, and here we have changed the title. So again, let me copy the class name here, and then over here dot that, and let's target the A and then the LI and the A link. So for this, for the meantime, let's add some background color to show that everything is working when the link is being hovered. By default, it has been selected. So let's add a state semicolon hover. And now when you hover it, now you can see that it's working perfectly as we are expecting. So we're not going to change the background, but instead we can even change the font size a little bit bigger, or just change the color something to, let's say, something like yellowish color, right, to indicate that yes, something is good. Yeah, something of this sort is good. Okay, so next is let's work on the most important part of it. That would be the responsive design part of the application. So let's check it out. So when I reduce the screen size of my application here, you can see that for the courses, even this paragraph is being stuck to one side. You can do that, and if you scroll down and look at the image too, it's also in this one and the folder. So first, let's work on the responsive part of it step by step. We are done with the header. As you can see, I can toggle, and now the form is gone. But this one, the courses, if you look at the text, is being scrunched together. So let's tackle the courses row. So remember, let's search for the courses. If you look at the courses here, let's scroll up here, and we have the courses. Let's scroll up here. I think it's somewhere here. Yeah, this one, line number 80. Here we have the courses row, right? That routes that have three parents or three children, one of this, one courses here, one courses here. So on a smaller screen size, we want to change the flex direction to column so that to be on top of each other. So let's select that and come back to the media query. Now we have done with the wrapper. So here we're going to have responsive design for the courses section. So the same process, the class name, and then here I'm going to change the flex direction to be column to on top of each other. As you can see, there we go, we have it. But I want to have some spacing around it, so let's also add justify content to be center of the page, and then align items to be centered. Okay, but better still, you need to add some margin on top on both sides, or if you want this way, you can maintain this, but I think we have some padding or margin around to be better. So let's look at the individual one as the individual course. So copy the course column and then come here and then paste that, and let's change. Let's have a pattern around it. Let's say pattern of 10 pixels on each side. I think this looks good, right? But the paragraph text is also yelling at us, so let's also toggle that. So you can toggle the courses, and then we have the p tag, right? Courses tag and the p tag. We can toggle that. So courses p tag, select that again, and then let's also toggle the courses and the p tag, and let's have a width of auto, right? So it covers 8 container. So better still, it's not giving us. So are we tagging the right? So let's change the color and see if you are tagging the right elements. Yes, so I think the margin auto will be work. So let's give it 100% of its container, and I'm not sure it's because you have pattern around it. It's still. So let's give it a fixed width. So let's call this one, let's say 60 pixels here, and let's check it out and see. It's too small, so let's increase the size to 200, and let's see. It's too small. Or let's give it 80%, a percent better, right? So let's say 80% of the entire page. Yeah, or 90 also okay. So 90% will be better. Okay, so now it's working. So let's remove this color, we don't want it. Okay, so now it's working, nice. Or you can change the color of the text if you want it. So again, so let's work on now the courses is done, it's responsive. So let's with the Dean message, right? The Dean message, you can see that also scrum together. So the same process, if you look at now, it's a courses section, and then when you come to the Dean section, sorry. So here the same process, message from the Dean here. You have a container that wraps the individual the individual message. So we have the message here, and then so we have Dean message row. So let's also change this one to column. So we are done with the courses, responsive design, and let's change the Dean message as well. So the same process, let's change first direction to column to be on top of each other. There we go. You do see automatically, but by default we are giving it a margin left to be 200 pixels. So let's also change the image, the size of the image and the weight. If you look at the final, this one, we have Dean image container, right? And we gave it some margin. So let's copy that. Let's come to the CSS and then let's find that class name. So when I click Command F, find, and then paste it, let's search for that, the class. As you can see, for the Dean message container, we give it a margin right to be 200 pixels. So in our case, let's override this property on a smaller screen. So let's scroll down, and then inside the media query here, let's paste that, and then for this margin right to be 20 pixels, let's reduce it and see it's okay. Or better still, we can change it to 0 pixels. Okay, it's cool now. But again, inside the image, so let's also search for the image class. So if you look at that, we have a width of 300 pixels on the image, right? So we can also override that. So let's copy the class, and then inside the media query here, let's also tackle the image, and then let's give it a width of 100%. Yeah, this is cool. And let's, for the Dean message row, justify content to be center, and then align items to be also center. And let's see. All right, this is what we have. Okay, but again, or better still, for the image to we can push it for the din message container. So on the, let's push around the left hand side. So left, let's give it, let's say 20 pesos, and let's see, is it pushing it? I'm not sure. It's 80%. Yeah. So let's add more, like let's say 90% or 100%. Try an error, or 120% is okay. Yeah, I think this is cool. And then the width is okay. Cool. So the next part we're gonna be the message, and this one you can see that we also gave it a fixed width. Remember, so a fixed width always be like this. So let's give it a responsive width. All right. So if you look at the next section here, this is for the image, and next one is the image, the details. So we can again toggle the p tag. Right. So let's check it again. The message of din message, this one. So we can target the din message call and then h1, and then we can change the direction, the font size. So again, let's select that, then h1. Let's change the font size to be, let's say 1.2 rem, and let's see, it's small. What about, let's say 3? It's big. 2 is okay. Okay, so let's also target the paragraph and the links as well. So the same process, this paragraph and the links, right? So we also target the din paragraph. We also give it a fixed width. So in the smaller screen, let's change the width to be 100%. There you go. Did you see that? Now, but I don't think we have the pattern around these ones. So for the, let's also toggle that. The, what do you call it? I think is the items, li items, and then let's also target the, okay, the linked items. Yeah, it's because it wraps the whole of these ones. So the same process, dot link items, and let's have some padding around it to be 10 pieces on both sides. Yes, it's good. Okay, but this, look at this image, it's not that look great as you can see here. So let's add one more property to the second image, fixed background. You look at the final one, you see that we have it nicely like that, but the second one, we have it something like this. So we need to add additional property to it so that we can have a nice overview of it. Okay, so let's go back to the fixed background. So let's search for here and call it fixed background 2. Okay, we have the first one in the 2. Okay, so we have no repeat and then cover. I think it's the nature of the image. Alright, so you can change it if you want it. So now the responsive design of this one is working. Now let's work on the blog and then the footer, and we are done. So the same idea. So come back to the blog section and scroll down. We have the blog section here, and this is the parent, the row. So let's change the row to column the same way we did for the other ones. So inside the media query, down here, somewhere here, let's add comment and call this one blog. And on the smaller screen, let's change this one to flex direction to column. Let's now see what we have. There we go, automatically. For you don't even want to add anything else. This we need this okay for our like. All right. So next one gonna be the footer. So the same process. So let's come to the footer part of it, and for the footer too, we have a column, right? We have the footer column and a footer row, right? So let's change the footer column to flex direction to be column to be on top of each other. So here footer, and then something like this, and flex direction to be column, and there we go. And let's add some justify content to be center, and then align items to be center, and that is it. or we can add it to the justify content not to be center, but maybe it can be on other side. So to be flex start, sorry, the items rather, to be flex start, something like this, and we can give it a margin. So you can change the text here as you want. So let's give it the first, I think it's pretty much, yeah, but let's give it a margin. So margin on both sides, let's give it 20 pixels so that to be away from that. 20 is okay, or let's say give it 50 pixels, how you want it. Okay, but it's a taking pardon is better. Pardon, yeah, yes, it's okay. So as you can see, now our application is complete. We have the responsive part of it. I can toggle opening the drawer as well. But let's have some nice overlay. Let's see, when I toggle the drawer, I want to have some transition, right? So let's work on that, and then we are done. So where was the overlay? I forgot the actual class for that. So Nav Wrapper, and then we have the Nav container, and then we have the was the actual Nav link wrapper. I think this one, Nav container, not this one. Oh, it should be media query. Sorry, inside the media query. Media query here, the nav link. I think this one. So let's add some transition, say 0.5 seconds when it's coming in. Is it this one? No, I think it's supposed to be on the li. I forgot the actual class. I don't want to spend my time on this one. I think this one rather. All right. Oh, maybe I forgot the actual. I don't want to waste my time on that. All right. So, guys, here ends the video on this website design. So if you're happy with my video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.